Shalom Israel. Back with another Bible lesson. This lesson is Behold, He's coming. Behold, He's coming. Revelations 5 and 5. Salak. And one of the elders said unto me, Weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, has prevailed to open the book and to loose the seven seals. Verse 10. And has made us unto our God kings and priests, and we shall reign on the earth. Because essentially, Hamashiach Yahushua is coming back for the remnant of Israel. You so-called Negroes, Native Indians, Latinos, you 12 tribes scattered abroad. Hamashiach Yahushua is coming to redeem you and to make you kings and priests and to reign upon the earth. Revelations 5:12, saying with a loud voice, Worthy is the Lamb. Who is the Lamb? The Lamb is yours truly, Hamashiach Yahushua, that was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and blessing. Every creature which is in heaven and on earth and under the earth, and such as are in the sea, and all that are in them, heard I saying, Blessing and honor and glory and power be unto him, the Lamb, Hamashiach Yahushua, that sits upon the throne, and unto the Lamb forever and ever. Behold, he's coming. You're wondering why things are ramping up. You're wondering why you have these talks of great famines and inflations and wars between certain countries and such, because these are prophecies playing out as the scriptures basically states. The Bible is called the scriptures because everybody is playing their role. We all have a script. We all were downloaded a role, a script to play out. Definitely in these last days. Revelations. Nope, I don't even want that yet. Let's go to my favorite, Second Esdras. I just got finished watching a movie. I'm probably going to tune in it again. It's called Independence Day. And if you have a spiritual eye, then you would really conceive what was being displayed in the movie. Independence Day basically explains the return of Hamashiach Yahushua. Whatever writer, director, etc., created that movie, they were reading Second Esdras 13. Undeniably, they had to be reading Second Esdras 13. This is why we tell you hard-headed Christians and atheists and non-believers that the Apocrypha is the Bible. It was part of the Bible, and they took it out. But when you watch the movie Independence Day, you see the big fathership aircraft coming in, and it's huge, and it invades, and it's destroying things. It's going ape, you know what. And this is basically how the scriptures portray Hamashiach and the angels and the election. Second Esdras 13, and behold, and lo, that man waxed strong with thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. This is Hamashiach Yahushua and the angels. And wheresoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice, like as the earth fell when it feels the fire. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven to subdue the men that came out of the sea. And we know these multitudes were the nations, were the armies, mixed with everybody in them. Because some of you hard-headed Israelites are going to be found in that day, destroyed and eradicated. 2nd Esdras 6, but behold, and lo, he hath graven himself a great mountain and flew upon it. And when you watch the movie Independence Day, you see the great mountain, the great chariot that the Bible speak of. These chariots, these UFOs, these UAPs, these are these heavenly aircrafts that Hamashiach and the angels are coming forth in. And we know these things are true because Elijah was taken up in one. Enoch was taken up in one. And yours truly was taken up in one. Hamashiach Yahushai. 2nd Esdras 13, but I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself a great mountain, and flew upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. And you see this very same thing in the movie Independence Day, when you see this big father chariot, and it's huge, and you kind of can't see where it's coming from, and can't. But eventually they showed you like the ends of it. Hollywood. It says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him, we know those are the multitudes of the nations, the heathen nations, to subdue him, were so afraid, but yet fought. So they're going to be scared out of their minds to fight Hamashiach and the angels and the elect. But Yahweh is going to put it in their mind to still fight. Proverbs 20:21, 1-3, Proverbs 20:24, Jeremiah 10:23, Daniel 4:17. For the Father, Abba Yahweh, the Ancient of Days, he controls all spirits. Hebrews 12:9, he controls it all. He is the Father of spirits. 2nd Esdras 13, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude, which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. So the angel was showing Esdras the end time finale, if you will, the climax of this Edomite rulership. And we harp on this because we are the ambassadors of Hamashiach Yahushai. We hastening the day, we hastening his coming. 2nd Esdras 13:12, afterward I saw the same man come down from the mountain. So the same man came down from that chariot, and calling to him another peaceable multitude. Who is this other peaceable multitude? This is the election, the elect, the remnant of Jacob, the remnant of Judah, Yasher Allah, Yahwadah, the 12 tribes, the election, those that kept the covenant to the best of their ability, those that observed the covenant to the best of their ability, those that did the works, and those that kept the faith. This is the peaceable multitude. And there came much people unto him, whereof some were glad, that would be the election, and some were sorry, that would be the 2/3, and some of them were bound. Peep that. And some of them were bound. When you read the scriptures precept upon precept, you will realize that some of these heathens will be taken to clean and fix up the coming kingdom. You find that in Amos 9:11 and 12, Psalms 149 on down, and Isaiah 14, 1 and 2. So these are the nations that will be bound, or the people that will be bound. And others, some brought of them that were offered. Then was I sick through great fear, and I awakened and said. So Esdras was getting all of these prophecies and visions, and he was shocked. And he was shocked. Second Esdras 13:25. I love Second Esdras 13 because it truly foretells the future. It truly tells you what's the grand finale, the grand climax of this wicked system ran by Amalek, Esau, Edom. Second Esdras 13:25. This is the meaning of the vision, whereas you saw as a man coming up from the midst of the sea, the same as whom God the highest have kept a great season, which by his own self shall deliver his creature, and he shall order them that are left behind. So this is basically the Lamb, Hamashiach Yahushai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, who the world ignorantly painted as a Edomite, stringy hair, blue eyes, pale face, and he's not going to look like that, because according to Revelations 5 and 5, he's from the tribe of Judah. And if you do your research, do your historics, do your your deep searching, you'll find out that the tribe of Judah, Benjamin, and Levi were all Negroid tribes. So the one they called Jesus Christ was, you guessed it, a black man. Second Esdras 13:27, whereas you saw as that out of his mouth there came as a blast of wind and fire and storm, and that he held neither sword nor any instrument of war, but that the rushing in of him destroyed the whole multitude, these armies. They came to subdue him. This is the interpretation. So there you have it, man. That's pretty much the wrap up of this thing we going through right now. The scriptures give you an insight if you can pick up on the mysteries. If the Father has given you the Spirit, the Ruach Kadash, to obtain the mysteries and secrets, as he says, Amos 3:7, he shows forth his secrets and mysteries unto the prophets, the teachers, the apostles, the real prophets, those that teach real doctrine. Second Esdras 13:32, and the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen, which I showed you before. And then shall my son, the Lamb, Hamashiach Yahushai, Revelations 5 and 5, the Lion of the tribe of Judah, be declared, whom you saw as a man ascending. So he's going to come back, like Superman on a fathership. All these superhero movies and etc., man, they all get it from these writers and directors and etc., They read our scriptures, they read our Bible. For the Bible is the greatest, oldest book ever, and its prophecies are well and true. So there's no getting around it, and it's no shocker that they use our book. Continuing on, Second Esdras 13, the Apocrypha, which these are don't quote me on Israel because I could be wrong. I don't know, the 7 books, 9 books that they took out, that the Vatican has hid and took out. And you need these books because they tie in the Bible. So it's no wonder they took them out. Second Esdras 13, and when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle. They have one against another. That sounds like he's going to come back in the midst of World War III. And an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as you saw as them willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. But he shall stand upon the top of the Mount Zion, because that's what this thing is all about. It's all about the fall of the Israelites, the punishment of the Israelites, the coming back of the Israelites, and the redemption of the Israelites, and the ruling of the Israelites, and happily ever after. It's all about the Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel, and they're like their chosen one, their prodigy, which is Hamashiach Yahushai. It's the second Ezra 13, but he shall stand upon the top of the Mount Zion, and Zion shall come and shall be showed to all men, being prepared and builded, like as you saw as the hill graven without hands. And this, my son, the Lamb, Hamashiach Yahushai, shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, the heathens, Salah, which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest, and shall lay before them their evil thoughts and the torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame, and he shall destroy them without labor by the law which is like unto me. So he's basically going to eradicate the wicked. This is why we tell y'all, yes, these things are boiling up, coming to pass, these prophecies, these things, but the Israelites win. You know, as they say, God wins at the end because it's his story. He wrote it. You know, this is why it's called, actually, this is his movie. This is why this Bible is called the scriptures, the script. Read the script. If you read the script, then you know the movie. It's a script before it's a movie. And that's pretty much what these scriptures are portraying. And we love harping on the scriptures or the scripts of Hamashiach Yahushai because it just brings great joy to know that there is a Savior and that there is a soul, a being, an entity that's going to eradicate the wicked. Revelation 6:14 through 17. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. So all these noble, high stature guys in this time and age and in this day and age, they're going to be chickens when those skies crack. This is basically what the script is stating. You know, these guys with these corruptible crowns. This is why we don't harp on super fame, super riches, and super wealth in this world, because if you're not putting it towards Hamashiach Yahushai and Yahweh and his kingdom, then it's going to come to naught. If you're not reading these scriptures, understanding these prophets and these mysteries and these secrets, then you're not as noble as you think you are. The real nobles, the real election, the real chosen special men and women are those that know these scriptures and can break them down and tell you what's to come, and is looking and hasting for the kingdom of heaven. These are the important souls on the earth. Revelation 6:14, and the heaven departed as a scroll when it is rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us, and hide us from the face of him that sits on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. So all that sinning you doing, all that hating and envying and strifing and secret wickedness that you think you're getting away with, all the stuff you thinking, everything you doing, it's all recorded. It's all seen. It's like when the Father comes, there's nowhere to run. This is why we try to live as honestly and as sinless as possible, because everything we've done in this tabernacle will be brought before us, even our words. Revelation 6:16, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day of his wrath is come, and who shall be able to stand? So these nations are in for a real treat, Israel. They're not going to be able to subdue Hamashiach, Yahushua, and the angels and the elect, because they're going to be spiritual gods amongst mortals. It's just that simple. The topic of this lesson is, behold, the Son of Man is coming. Behold, he's coming. Isaiah 66:15 through 16. For behold, the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots. Those angels, those UFOs, those UAPs, whatever you want to call them, those objects that's all in the heavens, that's doing all the weird, special things, those angels, like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. You know, Israel, you so-called Negroes, Native Indians, Latinos, do you really want to be caught out in that day? Do you really want to be caught with your skirt up? Do you really want to be caught naked? Do you really want to be caught out there when the king returns? This is why we tell y'all to keep the covenant to the best of your ability. This is why we tell you to read the scriptures. And this is why we tell you to do the work and keep the faith in your Savior, your King, Hamashiach, Yahushua, because he's coming. They know he's coming. It's written. It's prophecy. You can't rule the earth in such wickedness and expect not a recompense or something to happen. You know, and these wicked souls have drunken the world with their philosophies and doctrines. You know, that wine of Babylon. Isaiah 63:1 through 6. Who is this that comes from Edom with dyed garments from Bozrah? This that is glorious in his apparel, traveling in the greatness of his strength. I that speak in righteousness, mighty to save. Wherefore art you red in your apparel, and your garments like him that treads in the wine fat? I have trodden the winepress alone, and of the people there was none with me. For I will tread them in my anger, and trample them in my fury, and their blood shall be sprinkled upon my garment. And I will stain all my raiment, for the day of vengeance is in my mind, my heart, and the year of my redeem is come. And I looked, and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold. Therefore my own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury it upheld me. And I will tread down the people in my anger, and make them drunk in my fury, and I will bring down their strength to the earth. So that is how Hamashiach Yahushua is coming. That is how Jesus Christ, who the world ignorantly calls him, is coming upon the earth. And you Israelites, you Hebrew Israelites, you royal chosen people, which is, or which makes up you Negroes, Latinos, Native Indians, if you're caught up there, if you're caught out there, you're going to be eradicated just like the heathens. You're going to be smashed through just like these heathens. This is why we tell you to come back to your book, come back to your history, come back to your heritage, come back to the knowledge. because behold, he's coming. Behold, he's coming. Shalom, Israel. Shalom.